Alright, so this came in last night, or yesterday actually. What's today? Yeah, this came in Friday, today's Saturday. And this is going to work with these. And possibly those. Now, excuse me. What I am going to be doing is I have to put a couple little rubber feet on this, on those little round rubber feeties. You know, they're about a 1/4 inch, if that. I only need it actually to come up maybe 2/8, 3/8, a 1/4 inch. Anyway, I am going to try and do something here. Too big. That's all there is to it. So, these, believe it or not, are little vibrators. These are vibrators that you would find in a cellular phone. They're, I believe, 3 to 9 volt. Now I have little regulated power supplies that I can hook up to these things. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to epoxy the wafer. I have like 3, I don't know if I got 3 or 6. I got enough of them anyway, to the bottom. And I'm going to hook it up. And I'm going to see what kind of movement I get out of the water and how loud it's going to be, because I don't want it real loud either. If I'm going to be out here with it, I don't want it to be annoyingly loud. Now it's not going to be like a sonic cleaner. However, it's going to give me enough vibration I'm hoping for, so that when it's in a cleaning solvent, a gun cleaner, it'll kind of like just vibrate and shake all that crap out of there. So that's what I am going to attempt to do. And if it works, what's it going to cost me? The pan cost me, I think, 20 bucks. Now I'd rather have a little bit longer pan, but the pan cost me 20 bucks. These little vibrators, I believe they cost me $6 for 3. I'm not positive, but they weren't much money. The little transformer things, everybody has those laying around from an old cell phone or something. So, I mean, there's tons of those. Everybody's got those in their house. If you have it, you got issues, because that's something you should always just have. So, anyway, that's what we're at. So, I'm going to attempt working on this today. I, however, have another issue I have to take care of first. Again, I don't have to worry about it. But I'm going to work on the pan. I got to work on a holster. A couple more magnetic latches came in. I got to work on. A voltage drop came in. This is 3 volt, a 3 amp. Just in case I need more amperage than I have in the power supplies to run the small vibrators. This will take 12 volts and drop it down to 3 volts. So that I can use that if I have to. Anyway, that's where we're at, guys. So I'm going to have my coffee, my first cup today. And actually, I kind of been prolonging it. It's actually almost 11 o'clock. So I'm going to suck down some coffee and get busy. Alright, so anyway, I found a couple of used rubber feet. There's nothing wrong with the used ones. You know, rubber's rubber. They're still in good shape. Got a little dirt on them, but not a big deal. God, this epoxy stinks, doesn't it? The hardener. Oh, God. The odor. So I'm going to put the 4 feet on it. And then I'm going to put a couple of the vibrators on it. And epoxy them in place, because they'll be easier to work with when they're epoxied, because they're a pain in the ass. They want to keep moving around. So put these in play. Oop, get out of there. And then we'll take it from there. So anyway, It's raining out today, Saturday, 16th. It's not real cold out, but it's you know, it's there. I'm gonna say it's probably mid to high 40s, which isn't really bad. Right there, looking for my little gizmos here. My little vibrators. Vibrator! Now I think they have a stickum on it, but I'm not positive. So I am going to put them. Okay, who's that? I'm going to put them the opposite side up, because this side here shows like a little circuit board on it under there, if you can see it, and I don't want to take a chance of that shorting out against the middle pan. So I mean, it's coated, but I don't want to take a chance. So I want the wires facing towards one another, because I can just run the wire right down the center and tie right off to them, if you know what I mean. Alright, so how many of these did I buy? I bought 5. Okay. I don't remember how many I bought. I know I had enough. That's all that counts. Right? Right. Okay. Now, for shits and giggles. These are little offsets. Somebody loves me. So before I actually epoxy this on, I'm going to have to do something with it, because if you can see that, this little piece is an offset weight that's on the shaft, and that's what makes it vibrate as it turns around. Alright, almost like an unbalanced top. Now because of that, I just can't epoxy this down, because this is going to start hitting the pan. So I have to be able to raise it up just a little bit. So what I may do is I may wait a few minutes. I'll get the Dremel tool. I'll cut the ice cream sticks. I keep these laying around. I save them, I wash them, and I'll tell you what, they come in handy for everything. I'll cut the ice cream sticks, then I'll take the Dremel tool and I'll just put a little nipple in it so these will rest right in place, but yet have that off balance weight hang off the edge, if you see what I mean. And then I'll epoxy this to that, and then the little piece of stick to this. So that's what I'm going to do with those. I should have thought about that ahead of time, because I got epoxy over here that's going to be drying. Now it gives me about 5-6 minutes, so I mean, it's not like you got to rush. However, I don't want to feel rushed. Let me find out who it is that keeps texting me, and I'll be right back. Alright, so anyway, I took an ice cream stick, and I took a round file, a small round file that I had for sharpening chainsaws, and I just put a little nipple across each one for the motor to sit into. Because these things are so small too, I have to attach wires to these. And they're so damn small that it's easier to have it in something. Now I got a little mini vise here I can use, but I might as well just put it right onto here. And, hello! I can find what I'm looking for here. That's what I'm looking for. And just put it in place right there, and it'll do what it has to do. So supposedly, anyway, theoretically, on paper, yeah, on paper, He said theoretically. Oh my goodness. So now we're going to take this little vibrator and put it right there. Okay, now I'm going to just set it over on this one to kind of stop it from tipping over. And if I'm real lucky, I can get the other one done. And then it'll be easier to put the wire on them. Now, I did order a new solder station. Yeah. Oh yeah. However, it's not in yet. So now you can't overdo this, because if we do, we would have issues with the glue sticking to the epoxy, rather sticking to that off-balance weight, and then we're not going to be able to turn it, so we would have problems. So that's kind of where we're at there. Now I'm probably going to have to mix up another batch, because I have to epoxy those to this. Alright, so this is where we're at. The legs are epoxied in. The little vibrators are epoxied in. The sticks are epoxied, and the vibrators are epoxied to the stick. So all I have to do now is wire those three by putting wires on them. I will chain those together, and then I will bring these together, blue to blue, blue to blue, and all that, and then red to red, red to red. So all the reds, all the blues, all the go together. I will put a transformer in with a switch. This way I can plug it in, turn it on, turn it off if I want, and take it from there. So that's where we're at so far. Now I just got to give it time to dry. Alright, here's where it can get difficult. You need to use a low wattage, because if you see these wires that I'm going to be soldering to, I mean, they're, I don't know, about the size of a horse's mane here. I mean, where are they? They're small. Alright, that's small. Little piece of wire. Now, if the solder iron's too hot, it'll just start melting everything. And we don't want to add a lot of temperature to either or, the wire or the vibrator itself, because we don't want it to get to a point of destruction, you know, burning it up. So what I have to do is I'm going to use a very low wattage, because I haven't got my new solder station in yet. Yep. So what my plan is to take this wire, I'm going to put a little tin on the end of this one, and I'm going to attach it to this one down here as quick as possible. I got to tin that one as well. Then I'm going to bring it down here, and I'm going to put a little splice in it right now, because I'm also going to put a tap on it right here. Then I'm going to bring it down here, loop it around and back up, and tap it to each other one. And if I have enough, I'll come back down the side and I'll attach it to all these other ones as well. So we will see. I don't need much down here. Right. The hardest part is, because these wires are so thin, I'm going to have to somehow either weight it, epoxy it, something to hold it so that I'm not tugging on it. So it may take longer than I expect. I may have to solder this, put a dab of epoxy on it, and then wait until that dries before I do a little tugging on it to get to the next one, if you know what I mean. Because I can tug the wires right back off. So that's what we're up against. So the first thing I'm going to do is put a little tin on this wire and on that. So I'm just going to stick the wire in the flux real quick. I don't need a lot. I just want to get enough on there to make sure that it goes in there without killing everything. And I want to make sure I got it enough on the wire. There. And a little bit on this one. There. I mean, this is kind of like as fast as it's going to be. Now let me get the solder off that, because all I need is this. I don't want tons of globs of solder there. And that should do it. I shouldn't have to hold it on there much more than that. Okay. If I had my solder station, this would be a piece of cake right now. You know, but unfortunately, I haven't got it. Now here's where it can get striagonous, because I got to start moving the wire around. And things can come unsoldered real quick when you're working with things as small as I'm working with it. So now I'm going to just take this and I'm just going to quick it enough just to pull it back to get the casing back enough so that I can get that wire dabbed on there. So now we're going to do the same thing, get a little solder. The teeth work good for pulling it off the roll. I'm going to put a little dab right there. Hopefully there's enough there for me to work with. I don't know, maybe not. I hate to strip these wires because they're a pain in the ass and they break real easy when you're stripping them. So if you strip it too short, you just ruin the vibrator. See, that didn't catch. Now hopefully that caught. Good. Okay. So that's where we're at so far, ladies and germs. And I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to try, I only need a little bit here, alright? So what I'm going to try to do is attach it to this one, attach it to that one, bring it around, and try to get it to the rest of the three of these. Now I don't know if I'm going to be able to do that or not. And I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a little epoxy mix and epoxy this for now so that I don't have to worry about it. And that'll take a few minutes, so I'll be back.